Hello, everyone. Just like that, a whole month of 2023 is gone. And it's making me feel some things. And I've decided that I might talk about that and related to my language learning process. So I hope you will stay around and enjoy the video. I'm trying something different today, recording with my phone just to see if we get better audio and visuals than we normally do. And I guess if we don't, you won't see this video. So, you know. The question of what should a language learning YouTuber who has less than 100 subscribers really do, and what should they really commit themselves to producing content-wise on YouTube? Because obviously things are different and intentions are different when you have such a small audience base. This is mainly more for myself and for other learners who enjoy my thoughts than, for a wider audience. All that aside, I think it's important. I think this year I want to really try and, document and be responsible a little bit for the time that I spend learning. I mean, I've never done too much, but what normally happens is I will try and promise myself to maybe make regular videos or study regularly, and somewhere along the line, I fall off the wagon. So hopefully, I would like to promise myself and the few who follow my content that yes, I would like to create maybe 12 videos in the year 2023, and in them I want to document how I've been going with my languages. Not really to tell you, the listener or the viewer, what's the best way to study a language. It's more just to document my process and really show myself, my future self, what I am doing, and hopefully there's good results at the end. As you know, my main focus language is Turkish. And again, I really wanted to commit this year. I tried to promise myself that, look, I'm going to move from a basic beginner stage to a more advanced stage. I want to be able to talk about things, and I want to be able to express myself without having to stop and think about what the correct word is and what the correct, just have a more natural sense of flow. As part of that, I joined a B1 Turkish class. It's going well. Previously I wasn't spending so much time studying Turkish, and now at least a week I do maybe 6 hours of class time. So that's better than 0 hours, despite that sometimes the classes we change to English, and sometimes we're not necessarily talking about beneficial things to the objective of learning. Not to say that the idea of doing more input is new to me, but I think this is going to be the first time that I really feel good about committing to increasing input, not only for Turkish, but for everything. Why do I feel good about this? Because right now I think I have sort of identified where my level is, at least when it comes to content. And that's one of the hardest parts for me. And it always happens that I reach to a generally nice beginner level, and at the point where I need to find content to input and to increase my input, I just can't seem to find anything that holds my attention or that is easy enough to hold my attention. And so I just kind of give up. So this year is the year that I really want it to be different. For Turkish, what am I doing that is different? I have noticed now that, I now understand that I can't just pick up a book. I cannot just turn on YouTube and watch stuff. However, I am finding some graded readers that are definitely at my level. And even on YouTube, sometimes I actually think I really like watching commercials, because commercials, there's a lot of non-verbal communication. Like you can kind of get the feel about what the context is and what the message that they're trying to communicate is, regardless of what is being said with words. So I'm trying to find short-term content like that. What did I say? Advertisements, Um, and there are some other like channels and discussions that I like to listen to. They are a bit more at my level. And nowadays, whenever I see like a little sign or a post online, I will screenshot it and take it back and try and translate it to kind of increase my exposure to the language. And all these things, I feel like, I feel like they are better for me than what I was doing before. I just wanted to quickly show you guys what exactly I'm reading right now. So I found some really nice graded readers. It's from an institute called, well, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's from an institute called the Yunus Emre Enstitüsü, and they do, Turkish language learning material. So here I have a book called Yeni Arkadaşım, and it means my new friend. And it's essentially about a Turkish girl who plays host family to a British girl, and cultural conversations ensue. So this has been really good. Actually, my wife, she got a bunch of graded readers from this institute, from Yunus Emre Enstitüsü. So I am finally promising myself that I'm gonna try and work my way through them. So finding the right stuff is one thing, and then working your way through them is also another thing. I can read it pretty well, without trying too hard. But after about 2 or 3 pages, my brain does kind of wear down from reading in Turkish. So that's about where I'm at. And it's really important, I think, for comprehensible input to find out where you're at and be okay with that. So in another video previously, I spoke about reading, and I made a lot of progress this year in reading in English. But I just wanted to show myself that, hey, this is the difference of levels that we're talking at here. This is a 400-ish page science fiction novel in English, and this is a 20-page picture book with a very simple storyline. There's nothing grand going on here. So I think it's important for me. I do eventually want to get into fiction in Turkish, but I also need to understand where I am at right now to ever be able to get to where I want to go, because I cannot, like I said, just pick up. I know that a lot of people, they like to pick up, Harry Potter is a really popular book for language learners. They pick up the Turkish, French, whatever version of the language that they're learning, and they try and work through that. At least for me, firstly, because I haven't read Harry Potter, but at least for me, it feels like I'm not at that level yet. So it feels like that wouldn't be necessarily helpful for me. So I'm going to keep pushing ahead in my science fiction in the English language, and I'm going to keep pushing ahead with my graded readers in Turkish. I feel that, yes, and I feel really good in the sense that I have this set of graded readers, and at where I take my classes, I found some other books in graded readers that go from like A1 all the way into C2. So, at the end of my time with that place, I'm going to save up some money and try and buy the set, the A1 all the way to C2. Yeah, so this is giving me a lot of nice motivation. And I think perhaps previously I never really wanted to commit to graded readers, possibly because I didn't feel like it was a worthwhile financial spend to spend on all these books. But I'm getting a better idea now about, okay, how can I buy a book that will be the best benefit to me, kind of thing. So it feels I'm able to value it a little better nowadays. So that's exciting, and that's the bulk of what I've been doing for language learning stuff. However, I did want to mention that, I've actually been doing a bit of progress on other things. And obviously, when I saw that the 31st of Jan was coming around, I did kind of kick myself into action in the last week. I said, okay, I have to do something in the month of Jan for all these different things. That's where this idea for the blog, where this idea for this vlog or this journal entry came from. So I have always been struggling with making time for my learning of other languages like Bahasa Indonesia / Bahasa Melayu, partially because I don't know why, actually. I just felt that I needed more alone time with my languages, and I couldn't give it at the time because I was taking too much time with Turkish. However, somewhere during the month of January, I did say to myself, look, I want to focus more on comprehensible input. And then I realized that actually the language that I can best understand, input is actually Bahasa Indonesia, Bahasa Melayu. So it's not native like, but I can get quite a fair bit from, YouTube and podcasts that are maybe targeted for advanced learners or for natives, perhaps. So I haven't actually done any study with my Bahasa Melayu, progress. However, I have been listening and watching a lot of stuff, which kind of makes me feel better. I'm not recording how much I've learned, but I'd say in the month of January, maybe have consumed a few hours here and there. I have one podcast. It's by a Australian media provider by the name of SBS. So SBS has radio channels in a bunch of community languages that are around in Australia, and Indonesian is one of them. So I just started turning on the podcast and listening to their episodes. It's good. I get an exposure of world events from the lens of the Australian Indonesian community. And generally, I don't know if I can understand it all, but it's just good to kind of keep it on, and I get the general gist of things as they come. And it's pretty funny because when I was in high school, my teachers would always say, "Okay, nanti dengar SBS radio," or later listen to SBS radio or listen to community radio, and people were speaking Indonesian. And I kind of did it on and off. So now and then I forgot about it. So now I'm really trying to give it my all when I'm on the train, when I'm walking, because the episodes are only about 10 minutes. So that's a walk to the train station, a walk to the shops. That's enough. So I try and do that anywhere from 10 minutes to half an hour a day. I also complement that with various YouTube channels. There's actually quite a few like info or edutainment style channels in Bahasa Melayu atau Bahasa Indonesia. One of them is it's an Indonesian channel called Kok Bisa. So this channel is essentially the Indonesian local version of Crash Course. So they just talk about random topics like, oh, why is food like this? Why is energy like this? Why is this? So that was really cute. It's got infographics, so again, you can kind of understand the context even if you don't understand the words, and it's very casual style Indonesian as well, which is really important for me. Then I found the Reddit subreddit for Bahasa Melayu, and so I messaged there. I said, hey, do you guys have like a Malay accent or a Malaysia-centric version of this? Again, not exactly the same, but I have found some channels that talk about, they do little snippet entertainment about various topics, about news, about world events. So some of them I have had more success with than others, and that's been really, really good for me. The one that I watch a lot is a channel called ML Studios, and they just talk about random stuff, like, mostly it's informative, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes, so that's really, really handy. And it gives a nice Malaysian perspective. And also a lot of the guests that they get on are not always from they do not always speak like a standard or a KL dialect. Sometimes they have accents which are a bit more maybe northern, or even I think I heard one guy speaking in a Kelantanese style accent. So that's really, really good. Like, that's what I want right now for my content, is I want to have exposure to these ways of speaking. And I hope that eventually, if I just jam enough in, fluency will come, but we'll see about that. So also with my Arabic is something that I have studied once upon a time, but it's also been something that I have struggled with the most for a bunch of reasons. Firstly, because of this same thing that I struggle with Indonesian, is if I'm already doing Indonesian and Turkish, like, I cannot fathom how I am supposed to also do a third language. However, again, this year I'm really trying to just focus on input. So the only language I'm really studying and attending classes for is Turkish. I found some good channels in Bahasa Melayu that I can listen to. So now the thing that I need to do is find the same method for Arabic. There are other difficulties with Arabic as well, in that like I'm not very fluent or confident in much spoken Arabic. Um, so that's a problem. But again, I am going back to, SBS. They have an Arabic channel, and their announcers speak in Fusha, or modern standard Arabic. But a lot of the guests that they get on, or the coverage that they get on, are local Aussies who are from an Arabic background, meaning they speak in their own dialect. So it's kind of a good balance. I get to experience a lot of things. I'm doing some other things as well, like I'm helping some family members. They are doing an Arabic course from the ground up, so from zero to wherever they want to take it. So that's very nice. They'd go to that course and then I revise with them. So it helps them understand, and it helps me remember some of the more structural things that I am forgetting with Arabic. And interestingly enough, I had a little language exchange with a native Arabic speaker. We met up via Reddit, and now we just, I made sure to call him once before the end of January, just so I could say, hey, I did something in the month of January. But I hope that in Feb we can continue and build on that. So all around, I feel pretty okay about the things that I'm doing. I think with all of them, I'm probably not doing what you might say enough. There are big gaps. Sometimes I will not do these things. I will not study Turkish, or I will not do my inputs for maybe a few days in between. But again, it's better than zero. And January for me is the month of maybe experimenting and trying what works. And hopefully in Feb, the things that work, I can increase them. So that's my goals for February, is to kind of just push in the same direction and find out what really, really works. Real quick, personal goals that are important to me, but as I try to highlight in other videos, also kind of can be related to language learning. Again, like I said, I started a new book in January, and again, it was very slow, but I took a few days in the past week, past few days. I have been chomping through this book, been dedicating some good blocks of my time to reading, so that's feeling really good. It's motivating me, and it makes me feel happy. And even fitness-wise, again, it was hard to get back to the gym after a break over the holidays, but I have been going. Not regularly. There was a week where I didn't go at all, but this week's a little better, and I hope that in February we can be a little bit more consistent. So all these things are, sprouting up, and hopefully will come together for some really nice habits that I hope will bear fruit towards the end of the year. So let me know how your habits have been going and how your January was. Did you read any new books? Did you go to the gym? How did you go with your language study? Do let me know, and I will hear from you again soon. Bye.